Evening Collective. This is coming to express, and it is a discussion and endeavor to bridge, in some capacity, scientific understanding with spirituality. I'm far from the first to do this. This is merely my attempt, my expression, so here we go. Energy is the topic of discussion. I'm not coming into this from the woo standpoint. I am talking about energy, thermodynamic, electric, hydro, energy, adenosine triphosphate, energy. Okay, there is an understanding in the scientific world that not only is everything fueled by energy, everything is energy at its core. This is understood and accepted by astrophysicists, quantum physicists, even chemists ultimately. If you look at a material thing, this thing is made of molecules. Yes, these molecules have bonds, but it is only solid in appearance, solid state, because the bonds of these molecules allow them to maintain a specific organization that doesn't change very quickly. Those molecules individually are vibrating still, each one of them. And in fact, the amount of vibration is what determines the state of a thing, whether it is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. But nonetheless, molecules vibrate, yes. If you take it to an even lower level and you examine the atomic structure of these molecules, you will see the atoms themselves are moving. They are surrounded by even smaller particles, positrons and electrons, which have a spin, which rotate. All of this is in motion. Yes, it is vibrating. It has a measurable frequency of vibration. If you take it even further to the smallest extent, to the state of the quantum, even this is witnessed as having two alternating states that it may bounce between. There's a vibration in the quantum field of everything. Everything at its most fundamental, smallest point is energy, it is motion, it is moving. This is demonstrated by the theorem E equals mc squared. E being the energy of a system is equivalent to the mass multiplied by the speed of light squared. The details of this are not necessary for this discussion. However, what is a system? This is helpful to comprehend. What is a system? What is the energy of this system we are discussing? Well, a system is anything. It is whatever it is you are examining. It is a cardboard box. It is a circuit box. It is the engine in your car. It is your physical body. It is the entirety of the universe. All of these things are systems, systems within systems, each of them having their own energetic equation and input and output. Okay, so comprehending, accepting that everything from a scientific standpoint is energy. We examine the tarot. Tarot is used to bridge these things. Science is the study and observation of gross forces, gross being outwardly observable, obvious, physically, tangibly experienceable, measurable, okay, in a clear way. Then there are the subtle forces, those which are internal, which are within, which are experienced in a different fashion, which are not measurable by hard data, but are known by the experiencing of them and are measured by the feeling. Tarot itself, first of all, is the originator of all playing cards. Playing cards themselves are a diminutive form of the minor arcana. It's just missing the major components. The elements in tarot are demonstrative of specific types of energy, which are both physical in nature and metaphysical. The cups represent water as well as emotion, things that flow, things that are felt, things that change and create not by force, but in a gentle, natural way. Wands are fire. This is passion, this is fuel, this is an explosive forward motion. This is that which drives us. Swords are air. This has to do with the mental understanding, the workings of the mind, the comprehending of a thing, as well as the communication of it. This air has the ability to blow with great force or to be gentle in its expression. Then there are the pentacles. This is the element of earth, and it also represents the material things, physical, experienceable things, that which is tangible, steady, that which is something that can be built upon. It is also the energy of freedom and the power that freedom brings. So all of these things by tarot are the marrying, the merger of gross forces intrinsically, inherently blending into the subtler expressions. Why is all of this important? Because the same principle applies to every form of energy. All of it can be understood the same way. The foundational feature and function of energy is that it desires to flow. It is designed to flow, to change states. It is in constant motion. It is in flux. So consider this. What happens when you place a match inside of a box? If that box is a vacuum and you attempt to light it, nothing happens. There is no ignition. If that box is pressurized and full of oxygen, you light that match and there is an explosion. So what is the balanced way to create fire? It is to break the box apart, to let it breathe in the natural environment, to let the air mix and merge. Then you may strike a match. Then you may utilize that force for your benefit. The same is true of every element. It is true electrically. It is true hydraulically if you think of water flowing. A stagnant pool where there is no motion becomes toxic. Literally, it grows things that are poisonous. It attracts mosquitoes. It becomes full of algae and fungus and is not something you want to drink from. It is not a place where creatures like us would live. Alternately, water that is flowing so rapidly as a torrential force is also not a place where life typically exists. Perhaps in the pools around it, but not in the path of this flow that is so intense it is disruptive. This is what is demonstrated in the tarot, and this is what I am referring to as the Four of Pentacles principle. In the traditional tarot, the Four of Pentacles, suspend your disbelief with me, scientific believers. I love you. This is why I am here. The Four of Pentacles is depicted as a man who is clinging very tightly to his coins. One in his arms, one on his head, and two beneath his feet. He is withholding. He is in a state of tension and is not willing to release. This is the demonstration the example, the epitome of stagnant energy, withheld energy. And what happens when energy is not allowed to flow? One of two things. First of all, it creates a blockage that results either in complete stagnancy or in a buildup, both of which, things held in resistance, are experienced as uncomfortable. When this energy flowing in your body, emotion is energy as well. When this energy is not allowed to flow, when it is either withheld or ignored, it creates, by the resistance, a feeling of discomfort. This discomfort manifests emotionally, mentally, and physically, as well as energetically, but that is the base. The others are the result of it. When you withhold your emotion, when you withhold your passion, when you withhold your words, when you withhold your material things, when you cling to any of these, that is where self-sabotage may occur. This is where confusion may creep in, and doubt, and uncertainty, and feelings of lack, feelings of defensiveness, feelings of unsafety. This energetically, in the subtle forces, is how those known as shadow, simply because they are deceptive and obscuring, this is where these things creep in. It is precisely the same with the pool of water that is not flowing. Water that is stagnant is where the toxins grow. The match kept in the vacuum cannot be lit. There is no passion, there is no spark, no creativity. The air that is held, literally like holding the breath, only chokes out ideas, chokes out the expression, keeps one from communicating and from comprehending. It keeps one in a state of obsession. Withholding of physical material things, the miser energy, as demonstrated specifically by the Four of Pentacles, turns what is intended to be freedom into manipulation. This is why energy must flow. It inherently, intrinsically must flow, but this is why it is so important. It is not just important in the physical world. It is important in your world, your internal space. When you do not speak what you feel, when you do not allow yourself to express, when you withhold emotions, when you suppress your desires, that is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage cannot take place when the energy is flowing, because it only grows in stagnant places. Speak your truths, share your material things. You are abundance. You are abundant as much as the air and the sun which shines upon you. Let your passion emerge. Express yourself through creativity, through desire, and most importantly of all, let your emotions flow. Repress none of them. Express them all. Be vulnerable. Be open. Share. And you will never be led astray. This allows your energy to flow and to balance itself naturally, just as all the rest of the forces in the universe do. Just consider it. Thank you for listening.